Hi, this is Stephanie with Ageless Living TV. Thank you so much for watching my channel, and please hit the subscribe button. I'm so excited today to have a guest, and this is Meg, and I want to tell you a little bit about her. You're just going to have so much fun. And if you think, I have to start before I even read her bio. My mom used to say, if you want something done, ask a busy person. This lady is busy. So here we go. Meg's married, and she has 2 kids. One is 3, one is 1. So a boy 3, girl 1-year-old. So that's right there, busy. Proud pit bull rescue owner. And I'm thinking that should be a whole video right there. She's a former first grade and kindergarten teacher. And that's my idea of chaos. Totally. We'll have to hear more about that. As of 6 weeks after the birth of her daughter, she decided to start her own social media company. Is that when you left your teaching job?
It is. It is. I was on maternity leave and I decided, you know what, I think this is it.
That's crazy. She's the chief media maven, I love that, of Mock-Up Media, and we'll hear more about that, specializing in social media content creation and management for small businesses. It is her goal to take the burden of social presence off of business owners, as well as showing other women how they can have parenthood and business ownership can coexist. I'm thinking I said women and you said people, so I should change that.
Either way, women, people, you know, and I do another group that is focused on women. So it is, you know, moms and businesses are the ones who usually need the help.
need the different hats that we wear.
Oh, yes.
So get this. She has a YouTube channel, weekly podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. That's Post Social. Mommy blog, and she's one of the founders of Women of Virtue, and she spends her days with her kids and her evening with her business. I'm wondering where hubby fits in there. That's definitely one of my questions. But welcome, Meg. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is so much fun. The kids are napping, so we should not.
If they wake up, they wake up.
Yes, but we put them down, so we should be good. That's the one thing that is really good for me, is that they nap.
I have grandkids your kids' age. They are 2 and 3. No, 3 and 4. No, yes. 3 and 4. So
they keep going so fast.
So busy. I don't even know how I would do it now. It's like you have to be young to be able to keep the energy up. So my first question is, what was it like to give up teaching and be a stay-at-home mom? And how did you make that decision? Because that seems like a biggie.
It is a huge one. And the thing is, when I was first a teacher, I was like, I could never stay home. I have to have a job that's out of the house. I can't stay home with my kids. I would need to talk to people. It's just too hard. I can't do it. And then I had my son, and he went off to daycare, and we loved his daycare, where he was in a home daycare with like 3 other babies. It was just 4 babies and the daycare provider, and it was wonderful. But at the same time, like, I didn't know when he first stood up. Am I seeing him stand up for the first time, or is somebody else? Am I seeing him take his first steps, or is somebody else? And that was kind of hard for me just as a parent, because I mean, I know I have to go to work and to take care of other people's kids, but at the same time, what was I missing with my own son? And so then I went back, you know, we worked, and, you know, then we got pregnant with my daughter, and it was one of those where, like, I had changed from first grade to kindergarten, which was a whole different beast in and of itself. And and then I had her, and while I was home, I was just so happy to be there and, like, watching the interaction of the 2 of them, but knowing that soon that was going to come to an end, and that my daughter was going to go to one daycare and my son was going to go to another one, because they were both in home, and, you know, they had different age groups, so they weren't going to be together. And that was a little bit of a heartache for me, because they really were enjoying each other. At least my son was enjoying my daughter. And I just felt bad taking him away from that, or taking them away from each other. And so I thought, and it just fell in my lap. Yeah. It just fell in my lap, that the opportunity to do social media as an independent consultant. And I said, you know what, I'll try it. I have until October. This was in like June. So I have until October, until I have to go back to work. We'll see how it works out. And then it just kind of kept going. And I realized that this is where I was supposed to be. And I mean, daycare where I live is excessively expensive. It's like another mortgage payment. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't have it to.
You want to pay quality money to get quality service. I remember one of my Facebook friends has a kid, and she's posting, it's so sad. By the time I get home with bedtime, I see her 1 hour a day.
It is. It's hard. And being a teacher, I get home early, but that's how it was for my husband. He was only seeing, you know, the kids for a little while. And so they're only seeing their parents for a short amount of time. And so we thought, well, if we can make this work, it's best for the kids. Let's try it. And so we did. And it's hard, but it's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, there are some days where my husband comes home and he's like, how's your day? And I'm like, I'm going to need a third cup of coffee. Just give me 5 minutes. But then there are other days where I'm like, she said bye-bye or something fun. So it's got its ups and downs, but that's with any job.
That's awesome, though. And they're cute. I've seen your kids on your videos. If you haven't watched Meg's channel, tell us the name of your channel. I'm going to put it in the description box.
It's Meg OK. Those are my initials. My name is Megan O'Hara Kerns, so I just went with O and K.
I love it. I love it. They're cute, so they do make appearances every once in a while.
They do. And sometimes my son tells me he doesn't want to be part of the video. And I'm like, all right, that's your prerogative. Whereas my daughter is a complete ham. She smiles every time you pick up a phone or a camera. She's right there, lights on, ready to go.
Thing. It could be a girl thing. I don't know.
It might
So
be.
How did you meet your husband?
That is a really funny story. Actually, I was teaching for a couple years, and one of the guys that I taught first grade, he taught third grade. He and I had never really spoken. And one day he comes into the teacher's lounge and he said, hey, I have somebody for you to meet. And I kind of stuck my hand out and I was like, hi, I'm Meg. You and I have never met, so I'm not sure if I trust your judgment here. And so we kind of talked, and so he introduced me and said, why don't we do a blind date? I'll go with my girlfriend, you come and meet Philip, and we'll see how it goes. I said, sure. That first date, I ended up talking to his girlfriend longer than I did Philip. And so after that, I went back to work and I said, I am never going to see that man again. He didn't even want to talk to me, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to do it. And lo and behold, he was very, shall we say, persistent. And so we would text, he would call now and then our actual official first date on our own was 13 hours long. We did. Oh my gosh. I know. We did all of my favorite things: a baseball game, a bookstore, dinner, a movie, and then we were pretty much inseparable after that. So we had a long engagement, but a short courtship. So it was very cool. We'll be married 6 years actually in June.
How has this stage of life been for you? I mean, how is it being in this stage? And is it what you expected? Did you have an expectation?
I have really awesome parents. And so my mom is very open with me and just, kind of chatting, especially after having 2 kids. She'll call me now and then just to say, how are you? I know things are, they're different now than you've got 2 kids. And, it's different having a relationship with your husband with 2 children and then business ownership on top of that. It's completely different from where I thought I would ever be. But it's a good different. It's somewhere that I'm really excited and really blessed to feel that I have this opportunity, because most parents don't. But it takes a lot more communication than I thought. I mean, we always know that communication is key, but just the amount of things that you have to say and be aware of and just to talk to other people about is insanely large.
All right. Tell me about Virginia. Have you always lived there? What's it like? What's it like in Virginia?
Well, right now it's cold, weird enough. We can have all the seasons in like 1 week. So it just kind of depends, especially lately. I was actually born on Long Island and moved down here when I was about 10. And so I've lived right outside the DC area since then, since about 96, I want to say. Yeah. And it's so much nicer down here than I remember. Like, I love like my
Where did you say you were from before?
New York, Long Island.
Okay, Long Island. Okay.
Yes. And so it's just down here. I mean, up there we couldn't really like trick or treat outside at night. Like, you had to trick or treat during the day. So I remember moving down to Virginia and being like, we're missing trick or treating. And my mom was like, no, we trick or treat at nighttime here. It can be dark. Like, it's safe.
That's
so, but I love, it's nice. It's a great place to, our neighborhood is cute. It's a great place to, raise kids. Our families are both families are, in the area within half an hour, including our kids' great grandparents. So we're really lucky that, we've got a lot of family here. And, I would one day love to move to, of course, closer to the beach or to one of the Carolinas, but I'm really happy where we are right now.
That's cool. Oh, well, I love the beach. I'm nowhere near it, but I can get there. I can drive there.
Yes.
Yes. Where you can't get there. I can drive there. Okay. So what do you do for fun?
Oh gosh, I read, which is really sad because people are like, oh, you read for fun? I'm like, no, I read. Like, I love to read, pick up a series, a magazine, the back of a cereal box, I'll read it.
Actually.
Yeah. So I love that. I love being outside, doing just a lot of the outside stuff, playing outside with the kids, taking walks, just, a lot of the stuff that I do for fun involves my kids. And so now that they're at an age that they can kind of interact and my son can go do things, we've got plans to like go to the National Zoo and the aquarium and all those fun places that I just love making memories and, having those to hold on to and to remind me of things that we've done.
That sounds so fun. So you got these two little kids, and it sounds like you have a lot of family close by. Is that your support system? Who is your support system?
It is both, actually both of our mothers, my mother and my husband's mother, are both nurses. And so
oh my gosh, are you?
I know.
What?
So we are really lucky.
Okay, so I know it's too hard. It's too hard to even ask this question, but I'm going to give it a shot. One little piece of advice for other mommies from you.
From me, my biggest one is to ask for help. And that's, I mean, ask for help in any capacity. If it's with like emptying the dishwasher or throwing laundry in, or, you know, having 5 minutes, because I work from home. And so people think that, oh, you work from home, your day is probably pretty lax. I'm like, no, you know, if the kids are napping, I'm working, or I'm doing housework, or, you know, I'm trying to take care of the different things that go on. And it just, sometimes you need that just 5 minutes. Like, I mean, even if you're just like locked in the garage, like eating a chocolate bar, just do it. I think a lot of moms, especially those of them who, you know, stay home, don't remember to take that time. And there's a big stigma around staying home and the stuff that, you know, you get to do. And it's not your bosses are those tiny human beings that are running the show, as much as we like to think otherwise.
And they can be bossy.
They can. We're learning that. We have a 3-nager, so.
Yeah, it's adorable to me. I think it's adorable.
Oh, okay. It's funny. I mean, he'll tell me things like, I don't like those options. That's my favorite. Mommy, I don't like those options. May I have other ones? I'm like, no, you may not.
Oh man, I love that. That is awesome. Okay, so how do you juggle it? How do you juggle all of that and having a business that you also are committed to? That
in and of itself is a challenge, because, you know, you're trying to balance both the kids and the business and the husband. And so then where do you fall? And a lot of times I forget myself in that mix. So I'm trying to do better to actually schedule my time. I do a lot of time blocking to make sure, like, I actually block off time. Like, this is my time. You're going to eat lunch. You're going to take a shower. You're going to, like, just to make sure that I have that time to do that. But at the same time, I also know that if I'm not doing something, it's not getting done as far as business goes, because it falls on me. So I use my time very carefully, I guess I should say. So I go to bed late, I get up early.
What is time blocking? I mean, is this a physical paper calendar? And how do you do that? Is that a method?
I do a little bit of both. So I follow Amy Schmittauer, and she talks a lot about time blocking and actually going into your Google Calendar and putting up like colors of time that says, you know, from this time to this time, I'm working on posting. From this time to this time, I'm working on content creation. From this time to this time, it's breakfast for the kids, like, just to make sure that everything gets done in that day. So I use a variety. I use that. I use a paper and pencil. I have a like a bullet journal that I've started, and I'm working on bullet journaling to make sure that I'm kind of keeping a log of everything, so I don't miss anything that happened that day. As well as then I go in and I have an app on my phone or my computer that's a to-do list, and it goes through and it'll remind me, it's like, at this time you have to do this. And so I can actually go in, and I'm one of those people who likes to cross things off. So I can actually go in and cross it off when it's finished. It actually goes away and it's like, you hit your goal for today. I don't know who set the goal, but I like to hit it.
I want all of those. I want to do all of those.
It's a lot easier.
It's a thought. I definitely would love to be more organized. Yes. So we kind of got an answer to my next question, which is, how do you de-stress? Probably a good book.
A good book, or just like, and it's so funny, just like a bubble bath. Like, if I have time one night where I'm just like, hey, and I'll even like tell my husband, I'll like text him during the day, I'm like, I'm taking a bubble bath tonight. Like, be prepared. Like, don't talk to me for an hour. I'll be back in a little while. So just that, or music. I do a lot of music just to, you know, while I'm working. That kind of keeps me sane and focused and, you know, continuing on.
So tell me about your husband. What does he do?
My husband he actually went to Auburn University and got a degree in finance. And then he moved from finance, and he now works at our local hospital and does resource management. So he's in charge of, you know, making sure that the hospital is, you know, ready and stocked with everything they need to meet the needs of the patients who are in there. So it's nice that he's able to do that. And, you know, he has different days off during the week sometimes, which is great to have him home during the week. Because we're not, you know, it's much easier to go to Target on a Thursday than it is to go on a Saturday.
Yes, I hear you on that.
And he's also our cooker. So he is our chef, and he does all the, you know, he loves to cook dinner and that kind of thing. So that also takes that off of me, whereas I'm not as concerned with what are we having for dinner, whereas he will, you know, put together some chicken or something.
You gotta love a man who cooks.
Yes, and he cooks well. So we're very lucky.
I love that.
I am.
So, okay, so tell us about Mock Up Media.
Yes, I am so excited about mock-up media because it's one of those things that I've, besides my children, I've one of those things I've created from the ground. And so it's mock-up. Yes, I have created it. It has come from, some of the ideas that I had, and I'm just excited that I found something that I actually really enjoy. I have a master's in technology, so it's nice to be able to put that to use because in the elementary school, I mean, I can use it and that kind of thing, but first graders and kindergartners really aren't tweeting. So, nor should they be. Their spelling is atrocious.
As it should be.
As it should be, yes. So, mock-up, actually, the MOK is my initials. And so I put them together that way because I've always kind of wanted something of my own. This is something that I enjoy helping other people. I like taking the burden away from others and being able to find their voice online and their brand and what it is that they're trying to portray to others and put that in a positive light in front of, the thousands and millions of people who want and need to see it. They're out there hitting the ground running every day, finding new clients and taking care of problems and putting out fires, and social media is the last thing on their mind.
Right.
But it's the first thing that a potential client will go to when they're looking to see if they want to work with them.
It is.
And that's what they forget.
There's so many social media avenues out there. So which one do you have a favorite?
I do. I love Instagram currently, which means I love Facebook, but it's kind of because it's the big brother. I was on a huge Twitter fan for a really long time. And then I just kind of found that I do more photo creation. And so Instagram seems to be a better hub for that. And just kind of seeing people and getting to be part of all of the different communities there and the new things that are coming out with Instagram are very cool. So it's nice to have all of my favorite pieces of Snapchat and, hashtags and photo sharing and all in one little place.
There's so many. How do you keep up with all of them? I mean, you're keeping up with all of them. So how are you doing that?
I do a lot. And I am one of those, I don't like to schedule things using a third-party scheduler. Like I don't use Buffer. I don't use Hootsuite just because that's not me. That's not like me doing it. And so really the purpose of me doing someone's social media is that there's a live body behind it, making sure that they're interacting and reacting and sharing and doing all those things in real time so that people know that there's a real human heartbeat behind what's going on. And that's what's missing a lot of times from a lot of these things.
Like a schedule of some sort? Or
I do. I put together, I create a lot of content that I send to my clients to let them approve first. And once we get into a routine, I can usually find their voice and I just send things off and they go, yeah, it looks good. And then I go throughout the week and make sure that I'm posting things appropriately and checking in. And my phone is always beeping and I usually have to turn the sound off. I mean, there's just notifications upon notifications. So I'm constantly, swiping things left and right to be like, no, yes, that makes sense. That doesn't.
Do you do all your own graphics?
I do. I do a lot of everything I make, I create using some of the programs I have access to, stock photos. I'm starting to take some of my own photos, but that is not my cup of tea. I'm really lucky that I have people who are very good photographers that will help me and give me pointers. But, that's part of that asking for help is just having pieces and parts that I know I'm good at and others that I'm not.
Is this business more about making an income or is it more of an outlet for you or both? And what is your goal with that?
It's a little bit of both because like I said before, I never thought I could stay home with my kids because I would need to do something and be busy. This is my do something. This is the way that I'm able to actually hopefully make a difference to someone else and be helpful. I don't mind being the woman behind the keyboard, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. I don't mind being that person. I don't need the notoriety of somebody's something, going viral or doing really well or, getting a client or something like that. But I do take pride when a client comes back to me and says something like, oh, we were at a networking event and they said they see our social media everywhere. Inside, I'm like, yes, that means it's working. Yeah. But that's the kind of thing that I like is to make it easier for other people so that they can go out and be the great that they are in their, zone of genius or whatever it is, where mine is here behind the keyboard. But it is here to also cover my portion of, our income for our family, get rid of debt and maybe go on a vacation and kind of do some of those fun things that are going to make great memories for our kids.
Why did you jump on the YouTube bandwagon, and tell us a little bit about the 30-day challenge you just did?
I loved the 30-day challenge. So video is where all social media is going. Twitter is doing live video. Instagram is doing 1-minute videos and live, and, allowing you a bunch of different things. Facebook gives precedence to video, no matter what it is, ads or regular video or lives. They're going to pump you up to the top.
Wow.
So I'm also, like I said, I enjoy being behind the keyboard, but in getting myself out of my comfort zone and starting to network and doing those things in person, I also need to do them online. And my best place to do that is going to be YouTube. And so in order to kind of get into the platform, and I did, I've done vlogs before, but just, I did like 7-day vlogging, and I was like, oh, that was hard. And then we got to Amy did the 30-day challenge, and I was like, yeah, I can do the 30-day challenge. And I got to like day 17, and I was like, oh boy.
You rocked it. You rocked it. Kudos to you. You rocked it. You did it.
It was really cool though. And it's easy because like some of the time I could just take video of my kid and be like, look, he's cute. Like, let's put him up. But it also made me like put makeup on and get dressed every morning, which is really helpful as well. I mean, I can't live in yoga pants every day if I'm doing vlogging. So,
well, did you learn something from that? I mean, what kinds of things did you come away from that 30 days?
Oh, 100%. One of them is that I did much more than I thought I could do. So when given a task and given something that I need to, to be kept to the wire on, I can do it. And so I can make time so that when things come up and somebody says, well, do you have time for this? If it's something that's really important to me, yes, I will definitely make time for it. As I did, videoing, editing, and posting every day takes more time than you might think. And then I also learned that perfection is it's not what I want to attain. No. I want to put out something that's entertaining and that is informative, but it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, because therein lies the transparency that makes you relatable.
I think that the imperfection is what makes it fun and relatable and people entertained by. If it was perfect. Okay, let's talk gear. What do you film with for the YouTube? What were you filming with?
I was actually using a small, like a point and shoot Nikon, that just on a regular, I had a Manfrotto tripod. I had another tripod that my husband had. I use my Android phone a lot if I was just doing it like outside and it was really quick and I forgot. But I have to say that camera was attached to my hip like for the entire month. And there were times where I could a lot of like video footage didn't even make it into the video, because there were some times where it was like us sitting at lunchtime and my son is just like chattering in the background. I'm like, hey, mommy's trying to talk real quick. And he's like, no, it's my turn. I'm like, just wait. And so it's like 15 minutes of me trying to coax him to like be quiet. So sometimes you have, and I have that video to share with him when he's, 18 and has a new girlfriend, then hey,
right,
I have something to show you. But at the same time, it wasn't, YouTube ready.
So if someone wants to get started, they don't really need like some fancy equipment or anything complicated.
No, I would definitely say if somebody's trying to get started into vlogging, just pick up anything, whatever you're comfortable with, and start there. I started editing in iMovie and then went to Final Cut because it was just easier. And now I can say I do all of my videos, both for myself and my clients, are all done in Final Cut. And the quality of them is much better. I'm interested to actually go back and look at some of the first videos I did a while back and see what those look like when I was using an actual like handheld camcorder. That should be a fun.
Interesting. Yes. Going back is always interesting. What do your friends and family think of your being on YouTube, being out there, filming for people? What do they think?
My parents are really cool with everything that I've done. Of course, the change from teaching to social media to then vlogging is one of those things where they were kind of like, how far is she going with this? But I always make sure to ask before, like if I'm doing something that involves family, I usually say, hey, do you care if this makes it onto YouTube? And if they care, then it doesn't go in. Right. A lot of times if we're doing something with the whole family, I don't actually bring my video because I'd rather experience from in front of the camera than, behind it. So I try to kind of balance that as far as what's going on. My siblings, my brother actually more than anybody will watch and listen more than I thought anybody else would. And him being in college, that's surprising to me because I'm on a completely different wavelength than he is with 2 kids and, being at home and working from home, and he's, just graduating Penn State and doing all these great things. It's really cool to know that, you get a text every now and then that says, oh, I saw this, or, oh, I listened to this, or, oh, that was really funny. And that really warms my heart to know that he's he's still interacting with it, even though, we're farther apart right now, just as far as.
It's kind of funny, isn't it, when you find out somebody saw your video and they know stuff, you're like, wait, how'd you know that?
Yeah. Or the blog, the mommy blog, it's called Grateful for Gummies. And we used to do, for a long time, I was blogging every day. But of course, when things get busy, some things go by the wayside. I'm actually planning on putting my vlogs onto the blog.
That's a great idea.
Give them new life, because they're all about the kids anyways. But it was funny that I used to coach high school lacrosse, and some of the girls who, were on the team, like my brother would say, oh, so-and-so, reads your blog every morning. I'm like, really? Because she's in college and has no kids. Like, what? But they just like seeing the crazy things that my children were doing and saying.
It's fun. Yeah.
It was great to see. And it's awesome to have that community, both in person and online.
When you started, all of this, the social media, the blogging, the vlogging, how did you learn? How did you figure these things out? Where did you go? Did you watch videos, audios, books, all of the above? Is there any tips you could give someone who's trying to figure it out?
Definitely. I started as an independent consultant, so I did some learning there, and then I kind of did a lot of trial and error on my own. Mm-hmm. I read Amy Schmittar's book, Blog Like a Boss, and that got me to like, that thing is great for not only video, it's also awesome for just, content in general. It doesn't have to be video content. It can be just about anything. I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of trial and error. I use my own platforms to try things out before I do them with clients, because you don't want to use somebody else's platform to try something.
That's a great point. This is a great practice ground for you.
Yep. And so I do a lot of my stuff. My Instagram, my business Instagram has changed several times because I was kind of trying new things to see where the new platform was going. And so it's nice that I have the opportunity to do that versus messing somebody else's stuff up that,
So we'll watch your all of your accounts, and we'll see all the practicing, experimenting,
and see what's going on and what I kept and what I didn't.
So a business, business with no social media presence, where should they start? What's the starting place?
They have to actually look at their goals first. So are they trying to create a presence so that when people Google them, they are easily found, or are they trying to actually create a new client base? And so that kind of will dictate where they want to go. If they're just trying to be a reference point, aside from their website, then maybe LinkedIn is a great place. But I usually try and start people on easier, if they want to do it themselves, I try and start them on an easier platform, such as Facebook, because then that's one that's sticky. We call it sticky. It stays around. It, does what it needs to do as far as if you go there, you can find their information, where LinkedIn might disappear. Instagram is hard to find unless you know who you're looking for. So Facebook is really the easiest place for a new business to get started on social media.
That is great advice. So how do you on your accounts, how do you find your audience? How do people find you? And is it different finding your audience on the different platforms? Is it the same, or is it different?
It's completely different. Each platform is a totally different beast. And so that's where people run into a lot of their own problems, because they post the same thing on every single platform. And they wonder why they're not all working, or one's growing great and one is not. Well, it's because you're not utilizing the platform in the way that it was intended. Whereas Twitter, you're looking at, somewhere that's really quick. You've got to get somebody's attention really fast. They want to read it and move on. They're not there to stick around. Then you might send them somewhere else, but Twitter doesn't really like that. Whereas YouTube, I can get lost on YouTube for hours.
Yes.
And that's usually my downfall at night. Like, I'll start watching a video or two, and like 45 minutes later, I was like, oh, I was supposed to be working.
I know. I'm the
So
same.
it's putting, but a lot of times people are putting their YouTube videos on Facebook, and then they're confused why they're not doing as well both places. Well, because it was created for YouTube.
Right.
And that's where a lot of the work is.
How does all of this the tech part, does that come natural to you? And what advice would you have for someone who's technology challenged?
I have always been kind of the nerdy one in my family. Whereas, in college, my mom would call and she'd be like, how do I fix this PowerPoint? And so like talking her through the PowerPoint process was one of those things that's what I did. She used to get mad at me for being a quick clicker, as she said. I clicked the buttons too fast, so she couldn't learn. But I just, I enjoy kind of figuring out new things and watching them grow and seeing what new I can do. So it does kind of come naturally to me because I am curious about it. Yeah. Whereas somebody else will look at it and say, I absolutely hate social media. I'm not going to learn it.
Yeah, I totally.
Which is why they need me.
Yeah.
But that's my ideal client.
Technically challenged. You just need someone like Megan to take care of it for you.
Exactly. I'm happy to do that.
I don't want to leave out Women of Virtue. I want to hear a little bit about how you got involved with that.
Yes.
How did you get involved?
Women of Virtue is actually what we call a movement. So it's based on the Proverbs 31 woman. And so in the Bible, it talks all about how she's strong and she's, confident and she is obedient to her husband and all these different things that make up the Proverbs 31 woman. And when you read it, it's a little bit daunting. Like you look at this thing and you're like, dude, who is this woman? And like, how am I supposed to do this? But taking the pieces apart and looking at them piece by piece and light up, through the lens of your business or through the lens of your marriage or through the lens of your relationship. Mm-hmm. It's very different. It's almost a nice guide to what you can be and who you can be and who you should be in God's eyes. So my website has been designed by the lovely Carrie Barney, who introduced me to the other Women of Virtue founders. And each of us has a different what we call ninja power. So each of us has something that we are really good at doing. And so all of us together have created this Women of Virtue movement, and which actually comes with a program that like a 16-week taking your business from, wherever it is to insane growth based on each part. We have somebody who does mindset, somebody who does finance, branding, social media, and marketing. So we have 5 different women who have gone through and just kind of created a program with God at the center that kind of shows, where through him all things are possible. And so we want to make sure that people know that and are putting things in the right light.
Love that. You just have to go look at their website and then follow their social media. What about future plans? I mean, you just going along? Do you have some big things coming up? What are your goals? What's coming up?
My goals, I have several goals. One of them is to get on the speaking circuit. I'm excited to kind of go in, and I'd love to share some of my expertise with people who are, with small business owners who are working to, grow their presence, who want to do it on their own, who want to, learn a little bit more. I'd love to be part of that sphere. And that comes a little bit with the kids. It's difficult to find time to get out there and do that. So that's kind of a growth mode.
Right.
And I'm just excited to see where Mock-Up Media is going to go. I'm excited to see how it's going to grow alongside Women of Virtue. And it's just kind of nice to have my hand in a couple different things that I'm really committed to.
I love it. So, I love everything we talked about, but I want to know, is there anything I didn't ask you that you would like to talk about?
I'm trying to think. There's not too much. I think you hit a lot of it, and I really enjoyed having an answer. It's always nice to be asked something that you know an answer to.
There was so much. I'm like, how do I organize? How does she organize this? Like, I just want to get it all in order, but oh my goodness,
Yeah, I do a lot of writing down and making sure I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Because if something falls through the cracks, I feel bad.
I just love it. I mean, I think it's an inspiration for women to pursue whatever it is, whatever they want. I mean, we can do anything. And
you don't know until you're there. You don't know what you're capable of until you're actually in the midst. Mm-hmm. And I said that, at one point, leaving my job was probably the scariest thing I've ever done, because I went to school to be a teacher. I thought I would always be a teacher. And I mean, in the future, who knows if I'll go back to teaching. Right. But it was just going out on my own and doing something on my own. I was like, what if I fail? Like, what if it doesn't work? What if I don't, what if I don't do what I said that I was going to do? And when your back's against the wall and it's up to you, you really find out where your strengths are and you really find out what you're capable of. And that's been the biggest thing that I've learned in this process so far.
And I get that from you. I get that you're just excited about life and you're just loving it and having fun. That's the impression.
That's good. I'm glad that's coming through, because that's really how I feel. I just, I'm really lucky to be where I am. And I think if I ever forget that, that's going to be where my downfall is.
Well, I mean, we all have the ups and downs. It's just, just making sure that you're following your path, and that's awesome. Well, I just can't thank you enough for coming to my little channel and letting me interview you. I so appreciate it. I'm very excited to share you with everybody and see where this goes. So I just thank you.
I'm so happy that I was able to be here. Thank you for asking. And I can't wait to see what else you're going to do and just to follow along and be part of your journey as well. So, again, behind the keyboard, I'll be watching.
Okay, well, that's awesome. So for everybody, thank you so much for watching the channel today. And please subscribe and hit the thumbs up that you like this video. Go visit Megan's channel. I will definitely put that down below in the description, so you'll see all the details, and come back and see us next time. So here's to living a fabulous life at every age, and have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.